a consummate master of musical technique and artistry, a respected and wise elder in the South African jazz space. In his latest body of work, he requests that we pause and reflect. That's a multi-award-winning band leader, saxophonist and flutist, McCoy Mrubata's new album titled Quiet Please. Mrubata joins us now on Zoom to tell us more about his latest project. Mrubata, sir, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Lebu.
And COVID-19 has presented its fair share of challenges for artists. What did this period present to you?
Yeah, it gave me a sense of looking back and reflecting, on what's been happening in my life, and also thinking and reading, and also in the process, one wrote many songs, and learning other skills, because we had free times in our hands. So yeah, it really, made me sit back, and pen out, most of the titles of the album.
Talk to us about this new album, Quiet Please. What is the inspiration behind this new body of work?
Well, the inspiration is once again thinking back, and I find that there's too much narration and less implementation, across the board. Musicians sometimes instead of really giving the young ones what they need, to learn, we narrate a lot, and same as politicians, there'll be fires over there, and then after the fact they come in and fancy clothes and talk what just happened, promises and promises, we just need to listen to the youngsters, and help where we can,
Why was it important to you that the music on the album may have a sensitivity and a serenity about it?
I think it's the lockdown. I attribute it to sitting back at home, because, like I said, we had a lot of times in our hands. I was here in this tiny study and penning everything, my thoughts, and there might even come a book, because last year it was really hard, but at the same time it helped one to really bring about what's been behind me, thinking wide, and hence so many songs, I mean, the amount of songs one penned, with the help of other cats anyway, like Andy Leyenana, Paul Henma, Leander Madope, can amount to many albums.
I suppose you couldn't have done this album without your brother, Paul Hamner. I mean, you just mentioned him in that last conversation. Talk to us about the role he played in making this album possible.
Yeah, Paul, brought in that sensitivity, that classical feel, I called him only for a few items this time around. The main guy was Andy Leyenana, who produced the album and played most of the tracks. But Paul, I called him for the lockdown suite, For instance, movement number 1, and number 4, Paul is on his own, because he's good with that.
Yeah.
He opened the lockdown suite, which I called family meeting 1.
Yes.
It was Andy's idea, by the way, calling these suites from family meetings. So Paul did a great job, and he also plays on Tandas, he did a stunning job.
Yeah. I mean, there's a song as well that you do in there that you wrote for the late and great Max Daimani. I mean, a drummer from Cape Town. Why was it important that you honor him in this way?
Yeah, I've always wanted to honor Oprah Max, one of my teachers back where I come from. He had the feel of the song, that type of beat always reminded me of Oprah Max. So it was my little contribution to remember the great Max Daimani, one of the teachers, along with Susan Berry. I mean, when I worked with them in the 80s, you know, there was a band called Vukani. I learned a lot from that band, you know. So it's my little something for him, and of course, and Susan Berry, who's still alive and well, and giving, you know, and teaching, you know. So yeah, that's my little thing, you know, for them, especially for Max.
And in your mind, when you were working on the concept of this album, did you already know that, you know, you wanted to feature Andile Nana, Yolanda Madope, those creatives? Did you already have it in your mind to say, these are the guys that I want to help me out with this body of work?
Yeah, I've always wanted to work with Andile. So is really the one from the beginning, you know, late last year around, you know, spring, you know, when I gave it a thought that no, Andile is the man, you know. And then Leander wasn't involved this time around, you know, but I was consulting with him, you know, as a, you know, producer of many of my albums. So Andile was the man. And we worked under very, you know, difficult conditions, because he was up in eThekwini, you know, KZN. I was in Gauteng. We're trying to work in real time, but it was hard because, you know, internet is not that strong. So it was almost, you know, real time now, because a few seconds I send him an idea, he sends it back with a backing, and you know, and then we exchanged ideas over the period of 3 months, and then we went into the studio in December, and it was a great one. Once we finally, you know, sat down and, you know, meet face to face, and then every day bringing different musicians. But the first day it was just me and Andile.
You know, they say every album comes with its fair share of lessons. What did working on Quiet Please present you with?
Yeah, well, it presented me with sensitivity, you know. It's the first time that I worked with the string section. It was a request from the executive producer, Pius Momokong, that I should, you know, bring in strings, you know. And luckily, I'd hooked up already with this string section that I've been working with since 2017. So it was very easy, and yet, but the studio settings, it was very different and challenging. And also, we brought in singers, you know, guys called Complete, you know. They're also signed with the record companies that I'm signed with, MMC, Makotopong. And I learned a lot, you know, putting combinations of strings and voices, and also with the help of Hlubi Kwebulana, who arranged the voices, and the string arrangements were done by Gareth Harvey. Yeah, it was an experience.
Now, you say the album will force us to pause and reflect. Why is that important?
It's important for you guys, the media guys, to communicate, to talk. But us, you know, let's pause and listen to the young ones. And sometimes, you know, like I said, you know, there's too much talking, you know. Yeah, you know, it's nice to Zoom, but at the end of the day, we gotta work, you know. We gotta, you know, we gotta. It's a tough one. I don't know how to explain it, but there's too much narration, you know. Conferences, you know, and then there'll be riots, you know, days after a conference. Why can't we be you know, can't we do this, you know, beforehand, you know? And yeah, let's just pause and listen, and I think we'll work better when we listen more.
All right. But McCoy, thank you so much for talking to us. Always such a pleasure having you on the program. And he's a multi-award-winning band leader, saxophonist, and flutist, McCoy Mrubata, speaking to us about his new album titled Quiet Please.